Folks, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show. What an honor it is to be with somebody who is trying to create positive change in this world, in this life. Lynze, Rhem, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show.
It's my pleasure.
I want you to talk a little bit about, there are many creative people out there, but you've been able to actually take that intestinal fortitude and bring it into life and make some seriously sophisticated content and creation, more so than other people in your family, even if they were creative. Mm-hmm. I wanted you to talk about an example of that.
An example of that to me is actually turning my songwriting into something tangible. I am first and foremost a songwriter, a writer first, a poet, all the things, and I made the decision to showcase that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And that's something that in my family, not that it's not been done before. I do have some family members that write and have done music, but for me it's something that is very important for me to express. And really why I started music was to express. I didn't start music to be famous or to even sell a bunch of records. I just needed a way to release, and I knew that creative writing was that way for me. That was my judge.
Can you riff some poetry for us right now?
Off top.
Yeah, just anything. Doesn't have to rap.
I can find some in my notepad.
Well, I was going to ask you, how much of it is about? Have you had opportunities to be on the bandstand and riff off the cuff? I mean, to me, some of the greatest jazzers in the world back in the 50s, the language of the music was so embedded in them that they were able to leave their thinking mind and enter the spirit mind.
Yeah.
Into the spirit. How do you get into the spirit mind?
Actually, fun fact, the majority of my music is freestyle. So.
Okay, so then riff.
Yeah.
I mean, we got an audience here.
Just go off the top?
Yeah. Look at the camera, too.
All right. Love is you, love is I. Love is between the mind. Love is how we guide our souls and find where we'll spend our time. You and I, we are one, like the trees, the stars, and everything above. So join me in this ride.
Yo.
And this ride.
Props.
Off the top of the dome.
Yeah, I love it. Can you talk about how, in general, just so much of our ego gets in the way of allowing us to be a vessel for information to come through us?
Yes.
Because we really, as creators, are not fully responsible for what's happening.
Yes.
How can you talk about different modalities or practices that you have that you're able to find a way to get out of your own way in order to be a conduit for information?
I think it's just okay with being, I'm an Aquarius, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just okay with being weird and like saying something that doesn't make sense. That's always the first key to freestyling or writing for me. I don't care how, I just let it out. Whatever it is, however it sounds, it just I'm okay with being weird. Or
just what you just did was just so profound.
Thank you.
I was just riffing off. But I mean, how did you get comfortable being uncomfortable? That's what I'm trying to get at. Early on in your life, to me, you have to be vulnerable to do that.
How did I get comfortable with being uncomfortable?
I mean, with those beach bums in San Diego.
Yeah, I think survival. I was born.
What does that mean?
I was born and survive. I've always had to learn how to survive, and I think survivors, there's like a different thing in their brain where I always call it the MacGyver effect.
Yeah. I remember that show.
Yeah, and so I think.
What does that mean? So it's always on the edge because it's precarious. It can go either way.
Right. You just kind of have to be free with your resources. Really, we have everything that we need.
Yeah.
And I think if we allow ourselves to look around, we'll realize that we have everything. And
okay, but why you talk about we? Why did you get plugged in? Because you know what, most cats are consistently trying to buy another yacht or attain some sort of thing based on success. Mm-hmm. So how did you get tapped into that frequency?
That's a great question. I feel like it's very simple to me, and it does come from my upbringing and the way that my father raised me. he was a gardener. He was out in outside growing things, and I really took a deep, profound lesson from nature and how that works. And I'm tapped into growth and planting seeds, and knowing that not everything is microwavable. Some things you need to plant a seed for, and it will bloom if you take care of it. So that's the frequency that I'm tapped into.
I want you to talk about the idea of your dad bringing a tree or a plant back to life. To me, that's the most spiritual thing about gardening.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, anyone can manicure,
Yeah.
but the real chi, the real like life force, the real like urgency comes from when there's a
Reviving.
grapefruit tree that hasn't produced any fruit, and then through cultivation you bring it back to life.
I actually brought some
I know you
some
have.
cacti back to life.
How'd you do that?
I gave it a lot of TLC, time, love, and attention, and talking to it. And but yeah, that was actually a mission of mine. I walked around and I found some like dead cacti, and I brought them to life. San Pedro cactus too. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. But there is something very powerful. Actually, I in Drewtopia, I'm going to give them a shout out. That's where I get all my my stuff from. But there's something very powerful in bringing something back to life, and it's very deep and profound within your own stuff. And I always tell people when they're going through anything, plant something or try to bring it back to life. Not everybody has a green thumb, but just try. But it really does do something for you, because it shows you, no, it's not overnight. Yes, it takes a little bit of water, a little bit of moving around, a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of banana peels.
Let me ask you though, it doesn't have to be necessarily irrigation or, you know, in the ground. It can be human connection too.
Correct.
All right, like to me, like don't limit it to, and I know you don't, but I mean, the idea is your dad's message was you can be self-sufficient.
Yes, that was
because there were no handouts. And do you feel like your folks, you know, maybe they don't understand your path, but they respect it?
Yes.
And how can you talk about that journey?
Oh, that's a journey.
I know. Where are you at right now?
That's a journey.
Because you know what? I want them to know how blessed they are to have you as a daughter.
Oh, thank you. It has been probably one of the toughest journeys I've ever experienced. Now, I have two kids.
And you're not alone either.
I'm
not me. I'm not. But I'm just saying. You know that it's a story. It's an American story.
So it was not an easy journey for that, and it's ironic because my mother was a performer.
Yeah.
So I didn't, I felt it would be more accepted, and it wasn't. And so a lot of my journey has been without the approval of family, or my parent. My father's my biggest fan. If he's telling the Cox guy that about me, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He's doing what he's but
okay, go ahead. But
my mom, which was primarily the biggest performer in the family, has a lot of accolades. It wasn't as accepted as I thought it would be, even to this day.
Because it wasn't part of mainstream. I don't know what it would.
Maybe because I wasn't an attorney or a doctor or the life of being an artist is not always set in stone.
No.
So as a parent, naturally they're gonna be concerned about that. But that is a journey that I'm still on, and I realized that I just had to stay headfast in it, and I have to do. If I'm gonna do it, I have to do it right, And I realized that in my journey with my parents.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be where I am without them, and I wouldn't have the skill set that I have without them. So.
What do you think are the most effective forms of leadership, either on the bandstand? I mean, how do you get the most out of a team? Because at the end of the day, I mean, you're not just going to be doing, basket houses in Folk City. That era is gone. Yeah. So, like, you're going to have a backing band. Mm-hmm. People, and I want you to know, as a leader, how do you bring the best out of people?
Influence.
What does that mean?
Inspiration. I think people that know how to inspire are some of the strongest leaders that you'll ever meet. Young, old, and indifferent. If you have a little bit of influence, you have a lot of power as a leader. And knowing what to do with your influence is what takes you to that next level, and people that can reach you. So it's definitely influence. I'm a music teacher, and I've asked myself that question. And for me, I do believe it's that inspiration. It's that muse. It's that being able to see other,
Follow the muse.
Yes.
I dig.
Yeah. So being able to see the light in people and knowing how to inspire to bring it out, something that people may not have seen in themselves, one person may see, and once you can do that, then you're trusted. And people trust your guidance and your leadership and your insight. So yeah, I think it's influence.
Lynze, I just wanted you to say something, to your beautiful unborn baby.
Thank you.
About how happy you are to bring this life into the world, because, regardless, your folks, with my kids, it's always about the inspiration of creating something that's just so much farther beyond either the mother of my children or me.
Yeah.
And regardless of whether your parents ever verbally acknowledge, or your mom, you have, you are the most cosmic individual.
Thank you.
So what is your message to your beautiful baby about how excited you are to bring them into the world?
My message to my beautiful daughter, and this is the first time I'm saying I'm having a baby girl.
Beautiful.
Is that I'm proud of her already, and whatever path that she chooses, I am here for her, and I want her to feel safe and loved and cherished, and I feel that she's going to be great at anything and everything, and she probably can't help but be musical. She's probably not going to be able to help it, but whatever she chooses, mommy's here, mommy loves you, we're excited, and you have a lot of aunties and uncles watching you that are excited too and love you.
Lynze Rhem, it is such an honor to connect with you, my friend.
Likewise.
Thanks for being part of the program.
Of course, anytime.
It's the Jake Feinberg Show. See you later.